He's back. He's back. And I know I'm busting your eardrums. I'm sorry for busting your eardrums, but it's big, 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 extraordinarily big news. One, Mr. George Galloway is getting back into politics. And not just getting back into politics, he is running in a race against Tom Watson, traitor Tom Watson. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. And guys, I'm sorry I don't have a huge amount of time today. I'm not even supposed to be here doing this right now. I have a doctor's appointment that I really need to get to. But I did want to give this news because I thought this was really big news. And I am a massive fan of George Galloway. George Galloway was nice enough to come on the show and spend 40 minutes with me. And I follow news associated with him. And so when he put this out, I was like, ugh. I'm not a fan of Tom Watson. And apparently now there is George Galloway. And the announcement came out this morning that George Galloway is, God damn it, I have to fix that. George Galloway is running against Tom Watson as an MP for West Bromwich East. Left-wing politician George Galloway says Tom Watson is failing to back Brexit and is wrecking Jeremy Corbyn's campaign to become Prime Minister. He's a Blairite. Now, this news is more interesting. So just so we're clear about the news, George Galloway is now running for Tom Watson's seat in Parliament, West Bromwich East. George Galloway is running against Tom Watson's seat in West Bromwich East. Why am I reporting this news? Why is this news a big deal? This news is a big deal because the news broke today that Boris Johnson is calling for a snap election. Which means that if he's calling for a snap election, that means Tom Watson's seat is up immediately. And George Galloway's influence in this may be more relevant and more on point than we think it is. Meaning, George Galloway is running as a left-wing, pro-Brexit Labour politician. Is that right? I'm going to read this correctly. Left-wing politician George Galloway is bidding to become Black County's MP by standing against Labour Deputy Leader Tom Watson. MP Galloway is to stand as a pro-Brexit, pro-Jeremy Corbyn, independent candidate. That's right, he can't be in Labour because they expelled him from the Labour Party. That's a whole other thing. Corbyn should bring it back into the Labour Party at this point, seeing as that Iraq war was been pinned as a horrible disaster. And Galloway's position on the war was right, despite being evicted out of the party for his position on the war. MP Galloway is to stand as a pro-Brexit, pro-Jeremy Corbyn independent candidate in Mr. Watson's seat of West Bromwich East. He said, I'm an experienced parliamentarian, I'm an experienced campaigner and election fighter, and Tom Watson has a fight on his hands. Now, if you remember, he led the Respect Party. He created the Respect Party, and he was able to win a seat against a Labour MP in what was considered to be a shocking election upset. What do you call it? The Bradford Spring, I think is what they were calling it. The Bradford Spring, almost like the Arab Spring, because all of those people came on throughout the Labour leader. So, just because he's running as an independent, it's not like in the United States where there's no chance. He has shown that he could win as an independent or created somewhat of as a new party. So, him running as an independent candidate, it is possible for him to win this race. Now, whether he can beat Tom Watson is unclear. George Galloway has huge name recognition, but there are pluses and negatives to having that name recognition. I'd be interested in seeing what the polling looks like, but regardless of what the polling looks like, George Galloway is somewhat of a force unto himself. And the polling, even in the Bradford thing, if I'm not mistaken, didn't believe that Galloway was going to win. He won. Tom Watson does indeed have a fight on his hands. You have no idea how much I love this news that he's going to go after Tom Watson on this. And the fact that the new elections are going to be called if Boris wins it, general elections, means Watson has a fight on his hands. Watson has a fight on his hands. Mr. Watson hits back, insisting that he was working with Corbyn. No, he wasn't, to find a solution to the UK's Brexit mess. No, he wasn't. And claiming Mr. Galloway fawned pathetically to former Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein. Oh, this is the fight that these guys are going to have. And I wager to you that this is the fight that Galloway is perfectly okay with having. George Galloway is running against Tom Watson's seat for Parliament as an independent candidate. supporting Corbyn, but anti-pro-Brexit. God, I love this. I love this. I love this news. You have no idea how much I love this news. Guys, I wish I could stay here and talk to you about it, but I can't talk about it all that much today. But I will be back this evening. I have several shows for this evening. If you guys enjoy this content, please like this video. Please share this video. This is really big, big news for one Mr. George Galloway, and this show supports him 1,000%. Galloway running against Tom Watson, and Boris Johnson is calling new elections, meaning this is going to take place sooner than otherwise would have happened. I ended here. Alright guys, if you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support through PayPal or Patreon. I see if Galloway would be willing to come back on the show to kind of give his pitch. I don't know. At this point, these guys will be in election mode. But you never know. Alright guys, I'll see you this evening. Thanks all.